And I'm, of course, referring to the V8 turbo engine that achieved outstanding performance in terms of award. It has been awarded for 4th time the best engine in the world. It never happened to an engine. But even more, it has been also elected as the best engine of the last 20 years. Something incredible that has been achieved pushing the boundaries, looking on how to further improve the performance and the limit of the technology. But most of all, because of this reason, why we are here, why we are introducing a new model, because we want to celebrate this excellence. We want to make sure that this excellence, the engine, is perfectly represented on a car that is enhancing all the performances of this engine. And for this reason, we try to combine, from one side, what we call the thrilling performance of the best engine of the last 20 years. We will come back on the number. But combined with the maximum level of usability and fun to drive. We want to make sure that we are always delivering performance and fun to drive. But this time, with this specific model, with something more. Something that we like to mention as unbeatable sensuality. Why I'm talking about sensuality, about the car? Simply because this car that is designed to celebrate an excellence is a Spider. And the name of this car is celebrating it, F8 Spider. That's the name of the car. F8, 8 is the 8-cylinder turbo engine that is celebrating this important car. And Spider, of course, is highlighting the positioning of this car. A positioning that has been developed in order, from one side again, I would like to underline it, to stress the performance. This is a car you want to drive, sometimes alone, in order to maximize the pleasure of driving this car. But at the same time, with a great driver appeal, which means that whenever you leave a fast road and you want to go on a nice windy road, it's very comfortable and delivering great emotion. But most of all, as every single Spider, it gives a great, great pleasure looking and listening the wind in your hair. And this is exactly the reason why this car is perfectly positioned for a specific target of clients. Clients that are looking for the maximum pleasure to drive, but most of all, combined with the possibility to experience this in every single condition, driving a nice coupe, but at the same driving a fantastic Spider. Now, I think it's interesting to deep dive a little bit more on the technical element that makes this car so special. So let's deep dive on that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ferrari Chief Technology Officer, Michael Leiters.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Universo Ferrari, also from my side. Ladies and gentlemen, to be a real Ferrari, a car has to have two characteristics. The first one is outstanding performance, and the second one is thrilling driving emotions. And the key on the F8 Spider to reach these two main elements was the engine. This engine is a V8 3.9 liter engine, turbocharged with 720 horsepower, 185 horsepower per liter, so it's a very, very high specific power output. But this is only performance. On the other hand side, we have driving emotions, zero turbo lag, and a unique Ferrari sound. So if you want, this engine has the power of a turbocharged engine and the emotions of a natural aspirated engine. So what have we done to achieve this outstanding performance on the engine? So you see 720 horsepower at 8,000 RPM. We worked on the intake and the cooling system, layout to support the power increase. You have to consider that it's the first time that we have on a Ferrari a gasoline particle filter, so this cost us a little bit of performance. We had to recover this performance. We worked on the intake plenum and the runners to have more efficiency on the intake side. And then maybe, seems to be only in detail, but very, very important, we put a speed sensor on the turbocharger to know every moment, every second, exactly what rev the turbocharger has to utilize really the maximum power, also on the limit, on the turbocharger. And then we have the driving emotions of this new engine, where you can see that we have inconel exhaust pipes, we have titanium conrods, and we have a Lightning crankshaft. This brings us minus 18 kilo, but this is not the main point. The main point is that we reduce the inertia of the engine by minus 17%. Doesn't seem to be so much. You have to test the car. You will see that this engine is responding in an incredible way, and the responsiveness of the car is unbelievable, also due to these interactions we have taken on the engine. This is the engine, but how can we transfer all this power from the engine to the street, to the wheels? And I would like to point out two elements. One is the aerodynamic. We increased the aerodynamic efficiency by 10%. Actually, the drag is the same, but the vertical downforce is increased by 10%. And one key element to achieve this goal is the S-duct, which is derived from a Formula One concept. So the air is coming in and is deflected by the front hood. And it's deflected in the form of an S. And this deflection creates a force, and this force is pushing on the front axis and increases the vertical downforce of the car. And the second element is a classical element of Ferrari. You know, we are very strong in control systems, and meanwhile we are on the 6th generation of the new side slip control system, and there's a new element. If you go in race on the Manettino, you have a function which we call Ferrari Dynamic Enhancer. And this enhancer, this control system, is acting on the brakes. And this allows you, if you are on the limit, to stabilize, to get easier to the limit and to stay on the limit. But attention, this is not a stability controller. This is a fun controller. So really enjoy it if you test this car, how easy it is to go to the limit and to stay there. But we are talking about the F8 Spider, and so we have to talk also about the roof concept. Obviously, the combination of this engine, of this car, and the Spider concept is very, very passioning. You have the engine soundtrack directly on the air. You have the air in the face, and you can use this car also in an all-day use. And the concept we choose for this car is again a retractable hardtop. 14 seconds only to open and close it. And the news is here that we have now also a functionality that allows us to open and close the roof until 45 kph. I guess this is very important to use it in an all-day use. And the retractable hardtop is the best solution if you also want to limit the extra weight for retractable hardtops. So, in a nutshell, what are the performance? You can read them here on the slide. I just want to underline two performance figures. One is the weight to power ratio, under 2 kilos per horsepower. And the second is, in a consequence, the acceleration, 8.2 seconds from 0 to 200 kph. So this is the technological point on this new F8 Spider, but now something is missing. Now it's missing still the car, and we are very proud to present you today the new F8 Spider. Please welcome the newest baby in our range. Thank you very much.